Really quickly, guys, if you guys are just interested in the gaming news, be sure to go ahead and go to minute marker 38. It'll take you right there. And without further ado, I hope you guys enjoy the show. Thanks for tuning in. This week on the Analog Circle podcast, we get alleged proof on what Rocksteady's next upcoming project will be. We get information about the PlayStation 5's version of Marvel's Avengers. The new BioShock is back in the news, and we get a clearer understanding of what, quote, optimized for Series X really means. All of these stories can be found here right now in episode 134 of the Analog Circle podcast. I am your host, Kiaun Mitchell, and as I say every single week, thank you guys for tuning in and being a part of the podcast. Now, if you, the listener out there listening right now, want to find the podcast over on other places, other platforms, it's available on, matter of fact, just go to Google, type in the Analog Circle podcast. That's all you gotta do. It'll take you where you need to go and enjoy yourself. But guys, at this point in the show, I want to go ahead and get into my favorite section of the podcast, and that is the feedback section. So without further ado, matter of fact, you the listener out there, yeah, once again, I'm talking to you, and thank you again for being here. But if you want to be a part of this section of the podcast, you can do it two different ways. Either you can call in at 443-216-9934 and let your voice be heard. Or if you want to reach out to the show via email, you can email the show, and the email address is, of course, the Analog Circle podcast at gmail.com. Now, guys, I want to go ahead and get into the first email of the week, which comes from no other than Mr. Cody Clark. Shout out to you, brother. Let's go ahead and get into your email. Now, the title of his email is called Mixed Feelings. Oh, man, what are we doing here, Cody? What are we doing? He says, I just saw Polygon saying that Microsoft will shut down Mixer and transition to Facebook gaming. Well, I'm no fan of Facebook, so that does not sit well with me, but I guess that is the reality of the reality. Twitch and to some degree YouTube are too dominant. But it still sucks. Even if it was kind of niche, it was nice to not have to log into Twitch to watch some game streams or whatever. But since I don't use Facebook, I guess it's that or nada. Now, Cody Clark, first off, brother, you know I say this all the time. Thank you, Mr. MVP. I want to thank you for the email, and we are definitely going to talk about this whole Mixer situation a little later in the podcast. Trust me, I have some thoughts about this situation, and you are right. Twitch and YouTube were definitely dominant over Mixer. But Cody, trust me, just stay tuned, brother. We are going to talk about it. Cody, thanks again for this email, brother. It's always great to hear from you. And like I said, just stay tuned, because, man, we got some news on that. But moving on into the next email, I want to go ahead and get it started with, Cody got us started, but we're going to continue the train rolling with Mr. One Subset Tekken. What's going on, my brother? Now, he says, the title of his email is Sony has woke a sleeping giant. He said, what's going on, Kiaun? Hey, what's going on, Subset? He says, after the PlayStation 5 showcase, it seems that PlayStation had a very good showing. However, after the show, it appeared that all of people who normally cover E3 that covered the showcase, all they kept bringing up was what Xbox was going to do to keep themselves in the fray. Or how would they compete with PlayStation, because PlayStation had such a great show and PlayStation went first, and they don't see how Xbox can compete. Maybe it's just me, but Xbox can't get a break. All of the coverage was summed up with, quote, well, I don't know what Microsoft can do to top this, end of quote. I personally think Xbox has a mother of a show coming up in July. They have been second this whole generation, and they don't like being second to Sony. I'd be very surprised if Microsoft has a so humble bumble show. What are your thoughts, comments, or concerns about this? I'm running long, so I'm going to wrap this up. Oh no, you good, brother. He's emailing me straight out of Lucama, man. Shout out to you, and he says, keep it gaming. Listen, one subset teching, like I say, brother, all the time, and I just said it to Cody, and I'm gonna say it to you because it is the truth. I truly appreciate you writing and taking the time out. I know you guys are very, very busy. You have lives, you have families, so it really does mean a lot to me when you guys do take the time out to write in. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. So, getting into your email, Mr. One Subset Tekken. Man, I will say this. What Sony showed, I thought was very, very solid. I thought it was great. I gave the show a 8.0 because I thought what they showed was good enough for me. But do I believe, and I'll say this, I do believe, and I'll stand by this. Microsoft, to your point, on one subset, they could have a better show. But the big question is, will they? Now, for me, all generation long, that meme that we have all come to hear over and over and over again, which is wait until next year's E3, has echoed my brain each and every time when they have showed up to E3, because we've had Phil. Phil has come out there and he has hyped me up so much. This is gonna be our biggest show ever. And then when they get out there on the E3 stage, all of a sudden, poof! It is nothing there. And then Phil has the gall to say I'm more happy about the things that we didn't show. So that has plagued me this whole generation. Last year, brother, man, one subset, I was weak, man. I said, good gosh, I have lost all faith in the Xbox brand, because last year's E3 show, it was their show to win. Sony wasn't even in the building. Everybody said, this is it. Microsoft, it has been presented to you on a silver platter. And what did they do? They fumbled the ball. They fumbled it, one subset. And that was the point where I said, man, this just ain't it. But I will say, I don't want to stay all negative about this. I will say that coming into this upcoming generation, all of that being said, I have to say that we have seen a different Microsoft leading up to this new generation. They've been aggressive and they have been leading their own narrative almost flawlessly, minus the one misstep in May that people want to bring up. Me, myself, I still thought it was a great show. I thought it was fantastic. But what people forget with that May show, I think I understand what Microsoft said. It's going to be gameplay. But my whole thing was, I saw gameplay. I saw what the games were going to look like. They were new IPs. And then you have to also remember, keep it fair, this was not their E3 showing. This was another Inside Xbox, and I would say it was the best one that they have had thus far. So with all of that, one subset Tekken, I will say I want to believe so badly that what Phil is saying, once again, he's got out there again. I'm not going to remember it verbatim, but Phil has said something to the degree or to the extent of he felt confident after Sony's show, meaning that he thinks they can one-up them. They can top them. And I understand that he said they're going back and they're going over a few notes, a couple of whatever they're doing to get ready for the show. I've seen this confidence in Phil before, brother, and he's let me down. But so far, like I said, this upcoming generation, he's been doing a great job, him and the team. So I think we could finally get that E3 show from Microsoft that so many Xbox fans have been dying for. All Microsoft has to do so far, all of their messaging, everything that they've talked about with the Series X, like I said just a few seconds ago, it has been pretty much flawless. We understand exactly what we're going to get with the Series X. All of the features, the graphical fidelity that it's able to display. We've seen it. We've heard about the frames. It's a powerhouse. It's a monster. All everybody is waiting for now is the games. That is the only thing, the last piece of the puzzle that Microsoft has to solve is the games. And to me, what Sony showed was awesome. Ratchet and Clank and Spider-Man, that was really all I needed. Oh, no. And Horizon, whatever the second Horizon is called, to the West or whatever, that was all I needed. I think Microsoft, they need the same thing. If they can show off a new Fable, and I mean, I'm not talking about these kitty Mickey Mouse looking games. These things have to be graphically impressive, amazing, as it were. You cannot show this Tiki Tom stuff on the E3 stage. Don't do it, Microsoft. They have to show off just an amazing plethora of games. I mean, and just give us 4 solid ones. Just 4. If they can show off Perfect Dark, and it looks amazing, that's a check mark. They show off the new Fable game. If it looks incredible, it looks next generation, that's a check mark. And then you show off Halo. Oh man, Halo got a lot of people excited this week when they were talking about the protagonist. I forgot his name. He was in Halo Wars. Everybody was buzzing about that. All they have to do is show off Halo, and it looks very, very impressive graphically, and the story looks like it's going to be good. That's another check mark right there. That's 4 solids. Is that 4 or did I say 3? I don't know. I'll throw another one out there, though. If you can show something from Ninja Theory, well, if Microsoft can show something from Ninja Theory, maybe Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice, and that looks amazing, then you show off Forza. They have a shot here. One subset, they really can bring it home, but they have to have the games. And I'm gonna go on a limb once again, God dog it, Phil, please don't let me down. I'm gonna go out on a limb, and I'm gonna say once again, one subset, I think they can do it, brother. But we'll have to see. July is coming. That's when the big show is happening. You think that they've woken a sleeping giant? I want to believe so bad, brother, that is true. But one subset we will see in the upcoming weeks. Brother, thank you so much for this email. It was greatly appreciated. And like I said, brother, please keep on writing in. Thank you so much, man. Now, the next email up is, let's see, who do we have here? Mr. Free Fly Ferret, my dude, fly, brother, fly. Now, the title of his email is Advantage Microsoft. Man, this is all Microsoft stuff y'all writing in for this week. I love it. Oh, I love it. And now he says, Mr. Free Fly Ferret, my brother. He says, my brother, I have to say, in my humble opinion, that Microsoft's decision to make games playable on the older hardware is huge. I have multiple Xboxes and love that I can pick up any game where I left off from another one. When the Series X comes out, I'll still be able to do this without having to try to buy multiple replacements. That is game changing to me. I don't buy the argument that this causes games to be less amazing, as PC has been doing this for years. And Owen says, one game that can run on a multitude of hardware and scale accordingly. Side note, Last of Us 2 is fantastic and quite beautiful. Listen, Free Fly Ferret, man, I feel like my microphone is messing up here, so pardon the quality of the mic right now. I'm going to have to get a new one. But I will say thank you again for this voicemail. I was trying to get through the podcast without making a mistake talking about a voicemail when it wasn't there. But Free Fly Ferret, listen, brother, to me, this is 100%. I have to agree with you that this is one of the features that I can't wait to experience. And I would argue that because of this feature, this may be the easiest transition into the next generation. Because once again, this is a first to this magnitude on console where you actually get perks. You get perks from your old games running on new hardware, whether it be better frame rate or faster load times. And just the fact that you can run your prior software on new hardware out the gate is awesome. And brother, I'm gonna talk about it. I gotta tell you, that Last of Us Part 2, woo, hey, brother, I'm sweating right now, man. That game, we're gonna talk about that a little later. But yeah, I couldn't agree more. Like I said, Free Fly Ferret, this is a fantastic email. I appreciate it, brother. And that, just think about that. You don't have to replace any of your old games. They just carry over to the next generation with you. That is a first. And just the features. Imagine the HDR on a game back from 2005 or 2007 before HDR was even a thing in gaming. This is going to be big. And I think it was the right decision that Microsoft made trying to add that extra feature. Because like I said it weeks ago with the PlayStation 2, I thought we were going to get these enhancements, and it never happened. It was never there. Never. And this time, with that x86 architecture, being able to bring your games over to the new consoles, meaning you will literally have, if you're like me, if you're like myself, you will have a backlog going into the next generation of gaming. You don't have to drop those games because you don't have the console hooked up anymore. They just continue to carry over with you, like you said, Free Fly Ferret, like they do on the PC. So yeah, brother, this is definitely a huge feature for next generation that I'm very, very excited to see take off. But Free Fly Ferret, like I tell you all the time, brother, please continue to write in. I aspire, my brother, to have the setup that you have, brother. I'm working on it. I'm saving up a few dollars, brother. I'm working. But brother, thank you so much for always writing in. It's appreciated, man. And please continue to keep the train rolling, man. So up next, absolutely in no way least, not even a bit, we have Mr. Vaughn, and he has in Vaughn Classic, in classic Vaughn, what do you call it? Fashion. He has called in. So without further ado, I want to go ahead and get into Vaughn's voicemail. Mr. Vaughn, you got the floor, my brother.
What's up, Kiaun? It's Vaughn checking in one more time this week. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Shout out to the Circle. All right, I'm going to jump right into this. Last week, you wanted everybody to respond to a question of what would we have in our own black box if we had our version. So I'm going to jump straight into it. I hope you can hear me. 5 games. First, I'll have all 5 or 6 of the Strike series. I don't know if anybody remember those. I played it on the Genesis. Back in the day, this is where you were a helicopter pilot. It was isometric view. You had a set of missions that you had to complete. You could complete them in any order. It will make your next mission easier or harder depending on which way you handle it. It kind of had that chop lifter deal where you would fly over the POWs in the camp and you rescued them and the ladder would drop down. It was dope. I played every single one of those games. I would put all 6 of those games in the box. Next one, Twisted Metal. Everybody remembers Twisted Metal PlayStation, but this time I will have all these games will be rebooted, new graphics, all that good stuff. Twisted Metal with the Wreckfest. If anybody has played the latest Demolition Derby game called Wreckfest, has excellent graphics, excellent physics. I love that game. I always jump in and just play a couple of rounds of that. I would love to have Twisted Metal with that Wreckfest physics and the look of Wreckfest, so that would be dope for those graphics. The Mass Effect trilogy, I count all those as one, have all 3 of those in there in the box. WrestleMania 2000, N64 or WCW versus NWO, not sure if I'm getting the name right, but that was a trilogy. It was 3 different games, but they all had the same game engine back in the day. N64, that was dope as well. I would throw that in there. And then one that's my fantasy pick would be, the 5th one would be MK versus Marvel versus Capcom. I would make that game and put that in there. So that's my 5. My question for you this week, Kiaun, since Cyberpunk is the new hotness this week, hope you caught that reveal, new trailer and gameplay and all that good stuff. But since Cyberpunk is on everybody's mind, the hype meter just went up, another notch for that one. My question for you on Cyberpunk, when you get it and you got the control in your hand, you finish doing the customization, you create a character, what's the first thing that you're going to do? Are you going to jump in a vehicle and ride around? You're going to walk around the city and talk to NPCs? Or are you jumping straight into the story mode? All right, that's it for me. It's Vaughn. I'm out. Peace.
My man, Vaughn, shout out to you, brother. As always, I look forward to hearing from you every week via voicemail. It truly means a lot, brother. You call in every week, you ask these questions, and then you even answered your own question, because last week it was such a good question when you were asking if I could make my own black box, what would I put in my own black box? And then you turned around this week and you answered the question. So this is what Vaughn said he would put in his black box. You guys heard it already, but I'm going to say, Vaughn, some of these, brother, you got me on some of these, man. Now let me look at the list, because I wrote the list down, brother, of what you had said. You said that you would put, man, these are ones I got to be honest, I ain't heard all of these, but Strike series. I never played the Strike series. I do remember seeing it on the Sega Genesis. It was a helicopter. The closest thing that I've played to that, Vaughn, if it's kind of like a chop lifter. It sounds like it was like chop lifter, where you would drop the people off, the POWs, rescue them, pick them up, take them over to the other side. But I'm sure with the Genesis, it was probably a much better story to go with it. But yeah, I had never played a Strike game before. Did hear of it, but I never played it. The other game, we all heard of this, and I like the way you said, Vaughn, these would be remastered versions of the games. So you put in there Twisted Metal with Wreckfest type physics. Now I'm just gonna go off on a side note right here for a second, Vaughn, and say Wreckfest, I have seen that game. I think, if we're talking about the same one, Vaughn, I think it was by THQ, I believe. If that's the one. The physics in that game, the damage that the cars would take, just the, like Vaughn said, the physics, absolutely amazing. If the game is good, Vaughn, if you're saying it's good, that might be something I need to check out in the future. Right now, brother, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm filled up to my neck, to my nose in a backlog, brother. So that'll probably be on the back burner. But that is so cool to have that kind of game to look at, to talk about how you would make the next Twisted Metal game be, how the physics would be in the game, and how the damage of the vehicles would happen. Twisted Metal, I think a lot of people would love to see David Jaffe bring that back, remaster it. I remember, matter of fact, I was listening to a David Jaffe podcast. He hasn't done one in quite some time, but he said he has no control over the IP. He would love to bring another one out, but he doesn't think that that's what Sony wants to do. So for people that wanted a Twisted Metal, you might want to get Vaughn's Black Box. Now let's move on to the next game. You talked about Mass Effect Trilogy. Oh man, classic. EA broke my heart though, brother, when they did not even announce that it was even being worked on. They didn't even show any inkling that a Mass Effect remaster was happening. So yes, I would love to see that happen. And the other game you had brought up, another classic. Oh my gosh, WrestleMania 2000, or the N64 WCW versus NWO. I used to love these games, and I'm not even into wrestling like that. It was me, my buddy Mark, my buddy Renard, and my homeboy Les. Those are like four of my absolute, they're not even friends. I consider them family. They are family to me. We used to go over to Mark and Renard's house, and we would just play and play and play. The 4-player, oh my goodness, man, just throwing each other out of the ring. That Ukes, I think it was Ukes. Did Ukes develop that, Vaughn? I'm trying to remember. The grappling system with the analog stick. Oh my gosh, it was just so much fun, brother. We used to get some pizzas, man, and we would just chill on a Friday night and just play some wrestling. It was awesome. The N64 wrestling games are absolutely classics. Classics, brother. And then you had said, now this is something I'm sure everybody would like to see, Vaughn. He said, now this is like his fantasy pick. Like if he could just make a game, he said he would have MK versus Marvel versus Capcom. That would be sickening. Now I do remember, what's his name? God dog, the brother that works, the guy that works at NetherRealm. I'm blanking on his name. Good grief. He did say in an interview, and I talked about it, boom, something boom. Anyway, not going to hold y'all up with the details of the guy's name. Ed Boon. He said that he would love to have a Mortal Kombat, Marvel crossover. He would love to work on that. It would be, I mean, if that happened, oh my gosh, oh my goodness, can you imagine that? Vaughn, MK versus Marvel? That would be insane. That's not to sideswipe Capcom. Capcom is awesome. They got some great characters, great IPs, but man, what a matchup. Good gosh. I don't know if Disney would go for it though, because you know, MK is more mature rated and Disney owns Marvel. But man, as a fantasy game, something that you would just love to see happen just because it would be cool, that would be amazing, brother. I would love to see that happen. Hopefully Ed Boon, hey, maybe he can go the DC route, because I think the Mortal Kombat versus DC, was that M-rated too? I can't remember. But, man, anyway, I digress though, brother. Man, this was so dope, Vaughn. I appreciate you answering pretty much your own question with some really, really good games, man. Now, you did ask me one other thing. You asked me, what would be the first thing that I'm going to do in Cyberpunk 2077? First, let me tell you something real quick, brother. God dog. That game looks awesome. It looks incredible. I was a little down on the game on the last showing that they had. I was like, man, this doesn't look that clean. It looks kind of blurry. The textures don't look that great. It just doesn't look clean. This next demo that they showed, oh my gosh, man, that game looks gorgeous. It absolutely looks incredible. And if CD Projekt Red, look, if y'all need the time and y'all hit the part in the microphone, I can tell it's really, really messing up. I got to get one soon enough. But, just if CD Projekt Red needs the time, take the time. Do what you got to do to get it to where you need it to be. Because when he was robbing the store and he had like turned the gun sideways, and I think they call it Dreamscape. I can't remember exactly what the name of it is, but you can actually relive the memories of some of these NPCs that are around Night City, and you can actually just see things from their perspective, feel what they felt. And when he ran up on the guy with the gun and pointed it sideways, I was like, this is so amazing. It just looked so good, man. And then when they went into the system, it was kind of like the Batman Arkham Knight system where you can rewind and fast forward to get to understand the crime better. And then you find out that his own homeboy shot him in the back. Oh, man. That was just a feature. I'm going to tell you, Vaughn, that might not be the first thing I can do because, of course, in the game, you're going to have to build up and move, make some progress before you can start getting into the lives of different NPCs and seeing what happened. But that is definitely one of the top things on the list, just to see these different outcomes of these random characters. I mean, that was just so cool because I loved that feature in Arkham Knight, just being able to rewind and just showing the scene, seeing the whole thing unfold. I thought that was just wonderful. So that was one thing that stood out to me. And then the other thing, Vaughn, because the city is just so alive, it just seems like it's just on another level of just detail. I'm just going to want to go around the city, brother, and see what happens. They were talking about different random things happening where the cops had this guy jacked up on the hood of a car and whatnot, and the guy was trying to get loose, and you could have went over there and, kind of saw what happened, tried to break it up, help the guy out, and that could have led to a whole nother scenario. It's just, I just want to see that stuff, Vaughn. I just want to see what happens just randomly on the street as you're just walking along. Just minding your own business and seeing just a random robbery or something happen and just see what you'll be able to do to interact with it if you can change the scenario or just, oh man, just so many things, brother. But that's mainly what I'm going to do. Just walk around and just take in the world, brother. Just see what's going on and just see how alive the world really feels. But Vaughn, I thank you so much for this voicemail, brother. This was wonderful. Cyberpunk 2077. God dog, I can't wait. I think I might even opt to get that on the next generation, brother. I'm really, really leaning, since it's so close to when the Series X and the PS5 are releasing. If I can get my hands on a next-gen console, which I'm sure the game will be out before next gen, but I'll get it on the X for sure. Even though we know the PS5, they'll get the upgrade as well, too, the free upgrade. But I love the controller of the Xbox. So, man, frick it, man. Forget it. I'll just get it on the Xbox One X and then just upgrade it to the Series X and get the better textures and the faster frame rates and the loading times. But yeah, man, I'm just off on a tangent right now. My apologies, listeners. But Vaughn, like I say, brother, keep writing in. I appreciate it, brother. And man, I hope you guys, all of you guys that wrote in, have a great week. Once again, I want to shout out to Free Fly Ferret. I want to shout out to Cody Clark. Thank you again, brother. I want to shout out to One Subset Tekken and you again, Vaughn. Thank all of you brothers for writing in this week. It was greatly appreciated. Now, guys, God dog. I believe Free Fly Ferret, brother, you brought up The Last of Us Part 2, right? Free Fly Ferret, I want to see if I can quote you here. I want to try to bring up your email, brother, if I can bring it up. You did say, brother, I'm bringing it up right now. You said that, side note, Last of Us 2 is fantastic and quite beautiful. Brother, I couldn't agree with you more. That is the game I've been into all week. Well, not all week long. I just got back on Friday. I was on it, brother. I mean, I was on it yesterday for like 3 or 4 hours straight. I don't even do that with games too much lately because, you know, games are great. I mean, it's my favorite thing, but not all games hold my attention span that much where I'm like, okay, I can sit down and do like a 3-4 hour run on a game. I just haven't done that in a bit of time. I mean, it's been a little while. No, I can't say that. I did that with Death Stranding. I'm lying. My bad. I'll just say this. The game had my attention fully the whole time. And I have been trying to figure out why is there so much hate for this game. This game is absolutely unbelievable on so many levels. When you're talking about the graphics, God dog, I'm playing this on a vanilla PlayStation 4. This ain't no Pro. This is just a regular PS4, and the graphics are unimaginable. Just absolutely incredible. Naughty Dog has done such an amazing job on this game, and I have at least 7 hours, I would say maybe 8 hours into this game. I have played a lot of it, and it has not let me down yet. If anything, it keeps getting better. The twists, the turns, the characters, the voice acting is so good in this game. Now, granted, I'm not at the end. I don't know what completely happens, but it's gonna have to go completely off a cliff for me to say that it's a fail. Because right now, gameplay is awesome. I love the dodge button mechanic. I mean, you're stabbing people. Let me talk about, and I talked about this before, but let me talk about the sheer violence in this game. It was a few times where I just kind of squint like, oh, man, like I felt it when she hit the guy in the neck. She turned him around. I was holding him as a hostage, and, you know, all of a sudden, the people kept on shooting at me, so I had to stab him up. Had to do it. But when I stabbed him in the neck, and he fell to the ground, God dog, and you see just blood just come out of his mouth, I'm like, oh, man. I mean, it was just the level of detail that Naughty Dog has put into this game, the story, the acting, the cutscenes that are actually real time. It's the real time engine having these cutscenes in it. Just, man, this game is incredible. Can somebody please, without spoiling the game, don't spoil it for me. Tell me why is so much hate against this game, because I will say this, the way that Naughty Dog advertised the game, it's not quite, it's not exactly how they actually made it out to be. It's not that. Like the dude Neil Druckmann said, you really don't know, brother. It has been, I mean, I'm at a loss for words. I know I'm supposed to be telling y'all how great the game is or how bad it is or whatever, my thoughts on it. I'm just saying that I've just enjoyed it. It's been so much fun when you're taking the rope. I haven't seen those kind of rope physics. Now, this is just stupid for me to bring up rope physics. It's like, come on, Kiaun, you reaching. But when she's holding the rope in her hand or a cord, when she's trying to plug it into a wall from the generator, it's just like, man, Naughty Dog really did such a great job, and I just can't understand why and where all of the hate is coming from. I just don't understand it. But I don't want to harp on this too much longer. Soon as I finish up this podcast, I'm going upstairs and I'm going to finish playing it. But from what I have played so far, this game has some twists. It has some turns. And man, it has just been fantastic so far. But guys, we're going to go ahead and get into what we all come here for, brothers. And I mean, believe me, I am sweating, man. God dog it. But we're going to go ahead and get into the gaming news. Yes, sir. That went down. So here we are again. with more Batman news. And just like with all of these other Batman rumors, take it with a mustard seed of truth. But it does look like the title of the next Batman game could have leaked by website domain registrations. So according to Digital Trends, the registrations were filed earlier this month and discovered by Drifting Orbit over at Reset Era. So the name of the new alleged Batman title is Gotham Knights. And shockingly, it was also discovered that a Suicide Squad game could be in the works because Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League was also registered. And once again, this is all rumor until WB officially says something, but just to give this rumor a little bit more of a leg to stand on, the domains were filed by Mark Monitor, who also manages the registration for WB Games' website. Also, a very interesting fact about the title of the alleged Batman game, Gotham Knights, was a comic book that featured Batman, Batgirl, Oracle, Alfred, Robin, Nightwing, and Catwoman. And this once again lines up with the rumors that we heard that the next Batman game would focus on not just himself, but his family. You have all of these characters that were in the comic book of the name of the alleged new game. This is something. Now, it's also being said that this is the game WB Montreal is working on, and Suicide Squad, the alleged Suicide Squad is Rocksteady's next project, and we know DC fandom. This is the reason why listen, man, you can hope it, just hope it, and I'm just trying to make sense of it because I really want this to be true. But just think of this. August 22nd is coming up. These were just filed. These just got filed, and August 22nd, month after next, we're going to be having the DC fandom thing that's going to be happening. I'm just hoping that this isn't a coincidence. Do you find it just a little funny that they said, okay, we're going to file these, we're going to, file the patents or whatever for these titles, and all of a sudden, the month after that, next, in August, they're having this DC fandom virtual convention, brother. I'm just hoping that this happens. Can you imagine if Rocksteady, we've heard Rocksteady allegedly working on so many games. I think the most crazy one that I heard was the Superman game. Everybody was wondering, how the world can you make a Superman game? And I said it, man. I did. I said, if I trust anybody that could do it, I think it would be Rocksteady. They haven't made a bad game yet. And then that switched, and now we got the Suicide Squad. I mean, good grief. I'm hoping. I just want to see Rocksteady with something DC related. And then you have WB Montreal. They're working on the alleged new Batman game. You'll have Robin, and this is all alleged. This is not 100% confirmed, but just having that roster of different characters to choose from, this could be so cool. Imagine in August, we get that announcement that a new Batman game, and not just a new Batman game, but a Suicide Squad game is coming, and they show gameplay and don't EA us about it. It could be a very, very fun time, guys. Let's go ahead and move on into the next story. So let's talk Nintendo, because this story is a little telling, because it looks like Nintendo is stepping away from continuing to put their IPs on mobile devices outside of their own. So 2 years ago, Nintendo President Shintaro Furukawa said smartphone games would be a $1 billion business with a lot of potential for growth, and because of this, Nintendo would release 2 to 3 mobile titles a year with the hope of carving out their own piece of the pie. But you fast forward to May of this year, and he is singing a new tune because he said, quote, "We are not necessarily looking to continue releasing many new applications for the mobile market," end of quote. And the reason why this decision was made, as the South China Morning Post pointed out, was during the months between February and May, other studios were making record earnings, and games like Super Mario Run were down by double digits. But during this same time, Animal Crossing New Horizon soared in popularity. So as a result, they have decided to focus on their own ecosystem. Now, this says a lot to me because, once again, Nintendo, here they are with these numbers, these mobile numbers. You guys remember that mobile was going to take out consoles back at the beginning of this generation? That's what so many people believed, that mobile was going to take the place of console. And here you had Nintendo. They were like, hey, the president, Shintaro Furukawa, he's saying, hey, man, these guys are making $1 billion a year. We want to get into that market. We want our piece of the pie. And it didn't happen. What did happen was Animal Crossing on the Switch. That game is sold like gangbusters. Absolutely amazing numbers. And they said, you know what? Look, Mario Run, that's down. This ain't working. Matter of fact, we're just going to concentrate on our own platform. And that says it all. If you concentrate on your own platform, you don't try to stretch yourself to the point where you're thin in some areas, but you keep everything at home base. I mean, Nintendo already saw this ain't working. We're down double digits. We're just going to concentrate on what we're doing on our own console. That's the thing. These companies, and I understand it's a business. You're supposed to go where the money is at. That's what you're supposed to do. But I think that sometimes businesses in the gaming industry, their eyes become bigger than what they can really handle. And as a result, you end up losing money because you're not putting your resources where they should be. And that is on your platform, on your ecosystem. So I think this is once again a telling tale that these different companies, walk very cautiously, because just because everybody else is making money in a space, it does not necessarily mean that you're going to profit off of that space where everybody else is making the money. Let's go ahead and move on into the next story. Hopefully that made sense. I wasn't trying to be philosophical or anything like that. I was just trying to make a point, brothers. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into the next story. Now, I think by now, all of you guys know I'm not a Madden fan. I think EA is running from NFL 2K competition, and because of that, as a gamer, as gamers, we suffer. But when something cool happens, I never have a problem giving these companies credit. So EA's chief studios boss, Laura Miley, sat down with GI Biz to talk about Madden 21, where she revealed that one of the features that the next-gen version of Madden will have is, quote, next-gen stats, end of quote. Now, she described it by saying, quote, in Madden, we will be using the NFL's next-gen stats, so every athlete in the game will play how they do in real life, with the data being updated in real time, end of quote. Now, to me, this is something I have hoped for since the Dreamcast, man. Like I said, the Dreamcast gave me a lot of hopes on real world situations actually transferring over into the virtual world, into gaming. And for once, that means that, now this is the question that I wanted to pose to you guys. With this kind of technology, with these stats actually updating in real time in a Madden game, does that mean that if your starting quarterback is hurt in real life, they'll actually be hurt in the game and you got to play with the backup? I I just imagine that, man, what if one of your running backs, I don't know, man, can't think of anybody at the minute. Your running back, he gets hurt, he can't play in real life, and then in Madden it transfers over. This is just a whole nother level. If it works like this. Now, I mean, we know these companies, they always make these promises, and they don't necessarily always come out the way that they say they're supposed to. We can go back to the 360 when they were talking about you can make your own skateboards and stickers and logos and sell them. That ain't never happened. But if it does work out that way, that is just a level of detail I don't think we've ever seen in gaming, which makes me hopeful that in the future, if it's raining in your state, it could be raining in the game. If it's snowing where you're at, on the map, or in that area, it actually picks up on it from the Weather Channel, and it'll just react to how it reacts, to how the weather is in your area. I can't even get this out right now. God dog. But that's all I'm saying. Basically, real life being imitated in a game. This is just cool. I think I've spent more time on this than I needed to, but it just got my imagination going on what the possibilities of next generation could really be when it comes to game design. Anyway, let's go ahead and move into the next story. So let's talk about Microsoft because, in short, and shout out to you, Cody, this is it, brother. Mixer is being shut down. Now, on Monday, Facebook and Microsoft announced that they will be partnering up to transition users from the Mixer live streaming platform over to Facebook Gaming. Now, by July 22nd, all Mixer sites and apps will redirect users to Facebook. Also in this Polygon report, in exchange for this, Microsoft's Project xCloud game streaming service will start to appear on the Facebook platform at a later date. Now you might be asking yourself, what happened to, you probably aren't. I know I wasn't asking myself, but for you guys out there that may be wondering what happened to Ninja and the other streamers Microsoft signed contracts with for them to stream on Mixer. They were not involved in this transition and stressed that it was a partnership, not an acquisition. Now, as to why Phil wanted to partner with Facebook, this is what he said, and I quote, "We made a decision earlier this year that we were going to change approach. We weren't going to be continuing with Mixer as it was, and we wanted to find a partner for us who had a similar worldview on how gaming can evolve and the impact it could have, and a partner that had unique assets to really take that Mixer community, make it their own, and grow it to the level of impact and size that I really think it deserves and needs." End of quote. And remember, this is the thing. I want you guys to remember. Yeah, I heard Phil. Yeah, I get it, brother. I get it. You just moving them over. You partner with Facebook. It's not a bad move because you think about it. Stadia, I believe they have it somewhere where in YouTube they're supposed to make it so it'll eventually be a situation where you see your favorite streamer streaming a game. You can click a button and bam, you can play the same game. You can purchase it right there and play with the streamer and all of that stuff. Of course, none of that has happened thus far, but that's how they advertised it. I'm thinking that Microsoft, they looked at Facebook. They said, look, these guys have a ton of people on that platform. If we could get more eyes on Xbox or xCloud and have people just simply click a button and the game will be able to be played and purchased right then and there, we could probably take advantage of this, and it would be somewhat excuse me, it would somewhat be like what Stadia is doing over on the YouTube platform. But what I wanted to point out though is they paid Ninja between $20 and $30 million. God dang. Only thing in my mind as this Mixer platform has just burned. I think over the course of March to June or somewhere when COVID-19 hit extra hard in the beginning, somewhere in March, all of the other platforms, to Cody's point, doggone Twitch, their numbers went up. YouTube, their numbers went up. Even Facebook gaming numbers had went up expeditiously. That probably ain't even the right word to use, but they went up just massively to like 200-something%. It was just some crazy number. Might not have been 200%, but it was just insane. And then you had Mixer. They went up like 0.02%, not even a whole percentage. So they knew right then and there, we gotta pull a plug on this mother lover. We are doggone bleeding money when it comes to this. But just to think, they paid this guy, doggone Ninja, he couldn't bring anybody over from Twitch, 20 to 30 million. Like I said, all I could think about was that could have been spent on a whole new game. You could have made probably darn near new IP off of that money. And you just do it. You just do it out there in a win for doggone Ninja to get. And now the doggone Mixer service is closed down. God dang it, Microsoft. Darn. I mean, I will give them credit. They tried. Man, they were throwing everything at the wall, but Mixer just didn't stick. Anyway, man, it's being shut down. Facebook, they're partnering up with them, and we'll see how this whole situation turns out, but god dang, what a waste of money. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on into the next story. So let's talk about one of my most anticipated games for this year, Marvel's Avengers. Now, it has been confirmed that the game will be available on the Series X and PlayStation 5 via a free upgrade program. Now, as far as the PlayStation 5 version is concerned, we did get additional information on what we can expect. But in general, next-gen versions will get faster load times, higher resolution, and super textures. Now, as far as the PlayStation 5 version goes, PlayStation 5 users will be able to choose between two different modes. They are enhanced graphics mode and high frame rate mode, meaning that you can play the game at a dynamic 4K resolution at 60 frames per second or boost the graphics for the, quote, the highest image quality possible, end of quote. And the PlayStation 5's SSD will also allow for much faster texture load-in. Now, these additional features that I'm talking about to read off are from the PlayStation blog post, which says, quote, the new PlayStation 5 GPU allows us to increase our texture resolution, push a higher level of detail farther from the player, enhance our ambient occlusion, improve our, man, here we go with one of these words, man, anisotropic filtering. I'm gonna just leave it at that, man. The filtering, and add a variety of new graphics features such as stochastic screen space reflection with contact aware sharpening. End of class. A whole lot of stuff. And I'll be honest, I don't understand half of it. But anyway, I digress. Now, in this article that I got from GameSpot, they talked a lot about the PlayStation 5 features, and you're probably asking, what about the Series X? Because I was sitting there, I'm reading, I'm like, okay, all right, you said that they're both going to be on the next-gen consoles. What's going on with the Series X? What's up with their features? Well, the Series X, as well as PC-specific features, will be shared at a later date. Now, the game releases on September 4th. God dog. So, anybody that's out there wanting the Series X or the PC version, we're going to get it sometime, but just not today. But I have to say, this is some cool stuff, and this is what I have wanted to see from these next-gen consoles. Here you have it. You got two different modes on the PlayStation 5, enhanced graphics mode and high frame rate mode. And that's all I'm asking for. Assassin's Creed, Ubisoft, this is all we are asking for. If you can't give us 4K resolution at 60 frames per second, it's fine. Just put an option in there that says, look, It's not going to be a native 4K image. It's going to be dynamic 4K, and then you can run it at 60 frames per second. That is all we are asking. Now, I saw Marvel Avengers over the week, last week sometime. I think it was like Wednesday or Thursday. And I mean, like I said, one of my most anticipated games. I'm a little wary, guys. I'm a little fearful of what we are going to get because I know they're saying that it's a single player game, but man, I don't know. Am I going to have to play as that other character? In my mind, I'm thinking it's going to be Hulk. It's going to be, Captain America. He's allegedly died. I don't know if that's true or not. In the game, we'll have to see with the story. But, you know, I thought it was going to be Hulk, Iron Man, Black Widow. Who am I missing? I'm forgetting the other character. God darn. This is what happens when I start recording. I'm trying to remember stuff and I can't. But, just the main Avengers in the game. Thor, that's who. And, I don't know if that's going to be it. I don't know if it's a looter type of game. I don't know if it's really going to give us a real Avengers story or if it's going to be something else. I mean, graphically, I do love the way it looks. I think the character models, like I said, I'm not attached to the films at all. So these real actors being portrayed in the game with their real face and their likeliness, that doesn't affect me either way. But I'm just trying to get a good game, and right now I'm a little questionable. It's crazy because I was second guessing Cyberpunk 2077 earlier. That came out to look amazing in the latest demo. I was high on Marvel Avengers earlier last year. I mean, absolutely peak highness on it, just thinking this is going to be incredible. And then this year, I'm a little worried, man. I don't know. But once again, shout out to PlayStation 5. They will not be denied. They are going head up with Microsoft with this feature. It's great to have games be forward compatible. Take advantage of the features that they're going to be giving them, the frame rates. This is excellent. And I truly hope, and I'm sure that Microsoft will do the same thing. Let's go ahead and get into the next story. So now this next story blew my mind. This is just crazy because it was announced that Ready at Dawn, the studio behind one of my favorite PlayStation 4 games, despite what everybody else thinks of it, The Order 1886. Now, they have been bought by Facebook. Here is the direct quote as part of, let me see, here it is. Here's the direct quote. As part of the Oculus Studios team, Ready at Dawn will continue creating memorable, immersive, and innovative VR content for gamers around the world as an independently operated studio. End of quote. Now, right now, the studio is working on Lone Echo 2, which is a follow-up to the Oculus Rift exclusive. Now, I read that the game was actually pretty good. I actually looked at it on YouTube. It looks fine, but forget all that, man. Here it is. This was one of the things, God dog, this was one of the things that I was hoping, absolutely hoping was gonna be on PlayStation stage. The Order 1887, a sequel, something. This game had so much potential. I thought that Sony would have bought the studio. I mean, I understand a lot of people didn't like it, said it was a lot of dialogue, QTEs, whatever. It just had the potential. It was a beautiful game. I thought it played fine. Nothing revolutionary with the gameplay in the gameplay department, but I thought it was solid. And here you have Facebook, out of all people or companies, get this developer. I'm hurt. I'm so hurt. Because the chances, the odds of an Order 1887, shoot, we already know more than likely it's not going to be on the Xbox. It's not going to be on a PlayStation. I don't know. Xbox, they're teaming up with Facebook. I don't know. Maybe. Who the heck knows? But the thing is, they're making sure that they're working on VR content. They said they're going to be working on memorable, immersive, and innovative VR content for gamers around the world. That means to me that they are going to be stuck in this medium. Please, Facebook, look, I don't think you have a console. I don't think you're working on one, but you got something going on with Microsoft. By all means, do not shelf the Order 1886. It has so much potential. And I tell you, I just hope some kind of way. That ship has probably sailed into the late night. They're probably not ever going to revisit the Order, but I just want to believe that one day, somehow, some way, they will be able to bring this back. God, dog, that really hurts. Man, if you haven't played the Order, don't believe the crap. Man, some people, they just crap on a game just to crap on it. And I understand not everybody has to like every game. I get it, but man, it wasn't that bad, man. Let's go ahead and let's move on into the next story. God darn, we over an hour and oh, shucks. All right, let's go ahead. Let's get into some quick news. Now, Ghost of Tsushima has gone gold, and it will be releasing, of course, we all know this, July 17th. Now, I do want to add that this game may be difficult. Look, we know about some difficult games, but this game, it might be on another level because the game's director, Nate Fox, he said, and I quote, "We are trying to make a grounded game in that sense, so a couple of blows from the enemy will kill you. The game is very challenging. You can't just run into a camp and fight 5 people at the same time. You will get overwhelmed and die." End of quote. Now, when I saw this game for the first time, I might not have pointed this out, but when I saw Ghost of Tsushima, the first thing I thought about was Bushido Blade. Anybody from the PlayStation 1 era, you guys remember that game was freaking hard. One blow. If it was a deadly blow to the heart or whatever, man, your character was dead. That was it. And when I saw Ghost, I was like, man, the way he's hitting these guys with these one hit slashes across their chest, these jokers falling. And they ain't getting up, man. They down there. They ain't moving. So that made me think that, good grief, could the same rules apply to your character? And I think that the director, Nate Fox, I'm all tongue-tied this episode, pardon me. But this guy, he said, I think he's letting us know, hey, he said it's very challenging. You can't even fight 5 people. You're getting overwhelmed. So I think that ghost tactic, not being the samurai all day, the ghost tactic might be something that you have to do out of survival. Now, the cool thing is, as they said, it is your choice. You can go in whatever way you want. You can go in as like the samurai, frontal confrontation and do what you can do, or you can go in as the ghost, sneak around and take people out stealth, in like stealth mode. But man, if you can't take care of 5 people, yeah, that's a problem. That is a real problem. So for people that may be looking at this game, I'm still getting it nonetheless. I don't care. I'm buying it. The game looks beautiful. I want it. But for somebody that might not be wanting a challenge and it might be hard, hey man, I ain't gonna say skip it. Nah, man, give it a chance. Give it a shot. It might not be that bad, but it's going to be interesting. Ghost of Tsushima, that's another big game I'm looking forward to. PlayStation, man, I gotta applaud them, man. Good grief. What a way to end a generation. 2 huge games. The Last of Us 2, as far as I'm concerned, what I've played so far, like I said, it has to fall off the cliff entirely for me to change my mind. But that game has been absolutely just darn it, flawless, just amazing, an incredible experience. And then if you can top that, not top it, but you can equal that with Ghost of Tsushima to end the generation, that is a huge W. Let's go ahead and move into, now we are closing in. I think we're getting close to the end of the show, but I want to talk about Ori and the Will of the Wisps for a minute, because we have got some interesting stats about the game from the developer, Moon Studios. So over on Twitter, at Ori the Game tweeted, 2 million spirits and counting, meaning that this game didn't technically sell 2 million because it's on Game Pass, but 2 million people played it. Now, we don't have game sales figures at this moment, but they also reported that out of the 2 million people that played it, 423,000 people finished it, meaning that the game only has about a 21% completion rate. But what kills me is the last we heard. And this is just crazy to me. Game Pass had 10 million subs, and you mean not even half of the sub base downloaded a game with a Metacritic score of 90 and a user score of 8.8. This is insanity. Now, this is one of the best games Microsoft has had all generation, and this is how it's treated. I mean, good gosh, 10 million. People can say, hey, Kiaun, nobody wants to count the numbers of how many of these games that are in Game Pass. They don't want to count how many they sold. But dag, 2 million players. Sheesh, 2 million players. I mean, darn, you wonder, where is the support? The Xbox, granted, 45 to 50 million players are on the Xbox. Everybody has clowned Xbox. Not everybody, just people in the gaming community. You know how we do. Saying Xbox has no games, that Metacritic scores have been horrible. Here you have a game that got a 90. A 90! And it didn't even sell. It has 2 million players. God dog. And people wonder why Xbox had to take their games to PC. This is absolutely insane, man. I just don't get why so many games don't get the support that they deserve. Now, granted, you guys might be saying, Kiaun, why the heck do you care? Why the frick do you care, Kiaun? It's simple. I want another Ori game, man. I want another Ori joint. I understand that Moon Studios said they're not working on another Ori right now, but god dog, this is crazy. This is how we lose so many gaming companies. And you guys can say, well, dag, they need to make better games. I get it, but this got a 90. It got a 90. And it has a mere 2 million players. That's just sad, man. And you got 10 million people in the doggone Game Pass service. I mean, I just thought these numbers were just abysmal. But let me continue on, man. And this is for a $30 game. Let's not forget that this wasn't even a full price game. I went out, I got the collector's edition. It was only because I wanted to support Moon Studios. I love the work that they do, but this was a $30 title, people. $30. I mean, man, you probably, anyway, I don't know. I just don't get it, man. Anyway, to finish off these different, these stats, 45,000 people, they beat it on the hardest difficulty, and as a whole, players logged in, I mean, god darn, it's a lot of hours, 14.5 million hours, play it and they died 240 million times. Just insane. God dang, man, where's the support for the developer? And I don't give a frick about the developer. I don't, man. It's just, I really like the game, man. That's what it comes down to. I like Moon Studios. I think they do incredible work, and it's just like, man, I just don't understand why certain developers, they just don't get, they don't get the love, man. I just don't get it, man. But, anyway, let's go ahead and move on into the next story. Now, it's been quite a while since we have heard anything about, this'll make me a little more happy. It's been a while since we've heard anything about the upcoming new BioShock, but finally, we have something. Now, this isn't earth-shattering news, but it does give us an idea of what we can expect. Now, the Game Byte article reports that the art director from the original BioShock, Scott Sinclair, will be part of the team, and he also worked on BioShock Infinite. Now, Jonathan Pelling, who was a designer on the original and was also a creative director responsible for the world of Columbia in Infinite, he's going to be on the project. And finally, the new BioShock's creative director, who worked on the original game's programming, environment art, and level design, Hoagie De La Plante, he is also going to be on the team as well. And just to let you guys know, once again, it's been confirmed that if you were thinking about it or you thought something changed, Ken Levine will not be involved with this project. Now, it's been confirmed, another thing has been confirmed, god darn, sent a lot of confirms here, but the team has also acquired talent from developers who have worked on Assassin's Creed, Call of Duty, and Battlefield, 2 or 3 of those being first-person shooters. And the global studio head of Cloud Chamber, which are the guys behind this game, her name is Kelly Gilmore. She said this, and I quote, "I'm confident that the depth and variety of game development experiences at Cloud Chamber will lead to another unforgettable BioShock experience." End of quote. So we have it finally. This is confirmation. We've heard rumblings time and time and time again, but here we have confirmation. A new BioShock game is being worked on once again by Cloud Chamber. I don't know what these guys have done in the past, but the talent level, the people that they are putting on this project is great, because they have already worked on the previous titles, meaning that they are going to keep the game with that same BioShock flair, that BioShock Infinite kind of flair that they are known for having. It's not going to stray far from the BioShock format. And that is fantastic news, guys. Finally, I mean, confirmation, and we have an idea who's behind the team that are working on this game. Now, how crazy would it be? Here I go. I'm always using my imagination to think of some crazy stuff that's probably never gonna happen, but it's fun to me, brother. I mean, hey, like Danny Pena said, shout out to that brother, let me dream. Now, how insane would it be coming up in July? Man, I'm telling you, it would be crazy. One subset Tekken. Here we go, brother. How crazy. You guys remember, and y'all probably know where I'm going with this. BioShock, the original, it was released exclusively on the Xbox brand. Once again, this doesn't look like a big team. I've never heard of Cloud Chamber. Who knows? But what if Microsoft, this isn't 2K like with BioShock, and with maybe 2K still owns it or whatever. Anyway, how crazy. I'm trying to get to my point here. God dog. How insane would it be that on the Xbox stage, they say and announce this BioShock game, and they say that it is an exclusive? That could be a mic drop moment. Those are the things that Microsoft needs to do. Something that big, that kind of announcement. They can say BioShock is coming back home where it began. That is an announcement. That's something that can get people excited. Let people know that Microsoft, they are really trying to get back into the fight. And they are swinging hard at Sony. I look forward to seeing this game no matter what. It doesn't matter if it's a third party, which I'm sure it will be. It's BioShock. All of their games are third party. Microsoft just had the exclusive on it for a year or two. But nonetheless, I just want to see another BioShock. I'm just trying to add a little cherry on the top of what Microsoft could do to have a wow moment at their conference. But I'm glad. I look forward to seeing the direction that they're going to take. They've been under the sea. They've been in the clouds. I don't know. Are they going to just be on regular Earthland. I don't know what's going to happen. But nonetheless, I'm very, very excited about this. And I can't wait to see what the heck else happens with this game. Let's go ahead and let's move on into the next story. We're about to wrap it up here. But so we have heard Microsoft talk about how some games will be enhanced for Series X hardware. Well, it looks like Microsoft will be making this even clearer. And we were talking about this a little earlier. They're going to be making it clearer because games that will take advantage of these features will now have a, quote, optimized for Series X label. Now, when you see this label on a game, it will mean such features will be supported, like frame rates up to 120 frames per second. It'll include ray tracing and near instant loading times. So this is great. This is another way you can tell that a game has been enhanced. You don't have to question it. You don't have to wonder. It'll be on the label. I mean, the label will be on the box, so the box art. And also I do want to say these different features, the ray tracing or the 120 frames per second, or the load times, the instant load times, it doesn't mean, the label doesn't mean that all three of these are going to be present at once. It could mean, it means that one, out of the three, 2 out of the 3, or maybe all of them are on it, but it doesn't mean that all of them will be included in the games. Just one out of them. I mean, I'm not making sense with this. Basically, y'all know what I'm saying. It doesn't mean all of them will be available, but some may, or it may be all. It depends. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into the next story. I botched that. God dog. I was trying not to. Hopefully y'all got what I was saying. But, Neil Druckmann, man, Last of Us 2 looking like game of the year to me, brother. But, he said that, in a spoiler cast, a kind of funny spoiler cast he had actually done, he did say that The Last of Us Part 2, quote, there are no plans for DLC, end of quote. So if you were thinking that it could be another sub-story, kind of like Riley and Ellie, that's not going to happen. And sheesh, with the hate that The Last of Us 2 has been getting, I can't even imagine that they would even want to do something right now. But yeah, so that's it though. But anyway, that is the end of the gaming news this week. God dog, we are an hour and 20 minutes in, and we're going to just jump into it, man. Let's get into the final section of the podcast. Dag, I was kind of hoping this in DLC would be available, but I haven't beat it. Anyway, let's go ahead. But my question for you guys, and I know you saw it, and hopefully you're writing in. You've already wrote in. Send the voicemail. Do what you do. It's appreciated. But my question to you guys is, why don't video games sell more? I mean, you know, that Ori article, that just really rubbed me the wrong way, man. I don't understand. I'm trying to figure this out. Why don't video games sell more? Because, I mean, look, we're going to take the PlayStation user base, because that is the biggest fan base of users. They have over 100 million units sold. Now I want y'all to listen to some of the biggest games on the platform, how much they've sold. Horizon Zero Dawn, 10 million. Spider-Man, 13 million. God of War, 10 million. And Uncharted, 15 million. I mean, this is like, man, you're not even getting half of the player base, and this is not in any way, before anybody gets it misconstrued, this is not me trying to pick on Sony. I freaking love Sony. I'm playing one of my favorite games this year on the PlayStation 4, The Last of Us Part 2. But I'm just saying that, how the world, why aren't the numbers bigger? I would think you could break 20 million, 22 million on a user install base of 100 million plus. But then I said, okay, let's go ahead and let's go into multi-plat games. Let's talk about Madden, because we all know that that's what the quote unquote, the casual, they play. Well, it was estimated that the newest Madden sold 10 million. 10 million units. And then you go to 2K20, the basketball game, that was estimated to have sold 8 million units since it came out. So we can't even say that the casual audience is just setting the records, the charts on fire. This is insane to me, and this is a multi-plat. Here you have a possible 150 million user base, combined 150 million plus user base, and you sell 10 million copies and 8 million. And then you go to Jedi, Fallen Order, the Star Wars, huge name. Not only gamers care about the Star Wars lore, but so do just fans of Star Wars. That game, which was a great game, the Fallen Order, and it's a multi-plat, that sold 8 million copies. 8 million. Now granted, with $100 million budget, I'm saying the game selling 8 million copies, it made $480 million. It made the money back. But it's just so interesting to me that the units, the sales aren't higher. I'm trying to really figure this out and wrap my mind around it. That's why I'm asking you guys. And then one of the bigger games, the biggest game on the list, actually, which is Red Dead Redemption 2, which also is a multi-plat. This sells 29 million. Now, this is Red Dead Redemption 2. This is Rockstar. Now, granted, the GTA 5, that's an anomaly. That's going insane. But you got to think, that's from the PlayStation 3 360 era to the PlayStation 4 Xbox One era. And then they're trying to take it into the next generation. It's insane with that. But a game on the caliber of Red Dead Redemption 2 only sells 29 million out of a possible 150 million user base. I just don't get it. It is really a question that you guys can answer for me, because I am baffled. I am just befuddled with why are the numbers so low? Tell me. I understand that the used market, yeah, that does have a play in it. I would love to see what the numbers would be if the used market was completely out of the equation. I understand we got to take that into consideration, but God, dog, somebody please help me out with this. Why don't video games sell more? I would love to get your opinion on this, because I am lost. You can do this 2 different ways. If you want to be a part of the section of the show, you can either call in at 443-216-9934 and let your voice be heard. Or you can email the show, and the email address is the Analog Circle Podcast at gmail.com. I also want to say this in closing. Ori and the Will of the Wisp was also available on the PC. And this is the numbers. 2 million players is what you got? Good gosh, man. Let me get the heck out of here, man. I was your host, Kiaun Mitchell. Before I officially get out of here, I want you guys to know I appreciate you guys tuning in. It's always great to hang out with you guys, and it's one of the highlights of my week. It truly is. Thank you guys for the support, for writing in. Shout out to the Circle, everybody that wrote in. And once again, I couldn't do this without you guys, so thank you. But in closing, always remember, guys, it is not about the consoles. It is about the game. Support these mother lovers. God, dog. We're gonna wrap it up this week. But we'll be back at it again next week. Anyway, until then, you guys take care. Be safe out there. Bye-bye.